just doing what Miami Dolphins do. The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle. It's a Dolphin touchdown. Throwing deep upfield on the near side. Man open. Touchdown! Looking deep. He's got it there. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's got it for a touchdown again. Touchdown! Beautiful day to be a Dolphins fan. 1, 2, 3, let's go!
All right, huddle up, huddle up. We're gonna crank these engines up on one. All right, wait, 80, set. Drivers, start your engines.
This is the Finish Line.
I coached some great offensive linemen in the past. Larry Little, Dwight Stevenson, Jim Langer, all Hall of Famers, and Richmond Webb belongs to that same group.
Here are your hosts, legendary Miami Dolphins left tackle Richmond Webb, Reason, and Mr. BallGame.
Wait till we drop that new intro that I got cooking up for the Finish Line Pond Their Dome. With the new logo we got cooking up too. We got a lot coming to the Finish Line people don't even know about yet. Anyways, what's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one. It is another episode of the Finish Line. I am joined by the legendary Richmond Webb and the man who keeps it running, the triple OG, Mr. BallGame. First thing I want to say is thank you, everyone, and specifically to these two gentlemen up here for their continued support, their friendship. You know, I love these two men that are up here like brothers. They've, you know, we are much more than a podcast. We are like a family over here. And, you know, these guys, I can always count on them, whether I need an ear to vent to or someone just to talk to, or, you know, they'll always pick up the phone for me. They've always been there for me since I've known both Richmond Webb and Mr. BallGame. They're absolutely fantastic. Class acts. They're the definition of gentlemen, and I'm absolutely honored to call them my friend and to do this podcast with them. And they are a big reason why this, you know, this channel it continues to be successful. So, you know, in getting to 10K, there's a lot of people I want to thank. So I'm going to have a show on Saturday at some point, and I'll announce the giveaway. We're going to do 3 different winners. And I want to go through a list and thank everyone, but I want to take the chance to thank you two gentlemen for helping get Inside the NFL to 10K. And for, you know, above all else, man, whether football could end tomorrow and, you know, it wouldn't matter. We'd still have each other. So I appreciate you two gentlemen. Thank you very much. And football's back, baby. So it's a great day to be a Dolphin fan. So how y'all doing, gentlemen?
Hey, congratulations, bro. I know I sent a tweet out earlier as well as BallGame, but we're definitely proud of you. You know, the one thing I can say is you definitely put the work in, and we talked about this, you know, when you were starting out. And I mean, I just saw the way you worked. I saw your passion behind what you were doing, and you were concerned, or you really wanted to educate people about the game of football so they could understand for themselves and be able to go out and evaluate and all that. So it's coming to fruition. We talked about it. You know, we spoke about it, you know, years ago and this and that. So to see you've hit this point this is just one milestone. Now this is a major one, but once you normally kind of hit this one, it continues to go. So just keep putting the work in, and everything is man, the rest gonna take care of itself. But me and BallGame got your back. So
Appreciate
that's without even being said. But bye week is over, and Texans coming to town, so it's good to actually get ready for a game this week. Dolphins had that bye, probably got some much needed rest, but I'm sure they're gonna be ready, focused, and ready to hit the ground running back in front of the home crowd. And I was there for the Browns game. It was electric, this and that. So I'm sure they're gonna pick up right where they left off, and looking for another W in the win column. So looking forward to this weekend. Happy Thanksgiving to all our listeners, this and that, and we appreciate you as well. Coming in and listening, whether you agree or not. I appreciate you taking the time to just give us an ear and listen to us and this and that. But like Reason said, we are a family, this and that. We laugh, joke, and we even talk, even when we're not on the air. So it's been a blessing for me as well to meet these two gentlemen, this and that, and we kind of crack jokes and mess with each other. But it ain't nothing but love. But I'm in a good mood. Happy Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna hand it over to Mr. BallGame. How you doing, sir?
Well, first and foremost, yes, it's a good week, right? It's Thanksgiving week. Football's back, right? We back. I'm always happy to be able to have an opportunity to be up here with you two. But it goes without saying, bro. Reason I'm so proud of you, man. You know what I'm saying? You weathered the storm, bro. You put up with a whole bunch of foolishness that if I could have got out and got around and put my hands on a couple people, it might have been a whole different story. But, nevertheless, you already take the high road whenever you needed to. You know what I'm saying? And you barked at cats when they barked back at times because it was necessary. But we're here now, right? Social media influencer, educating this Dolphin fan base, man, and that's what we all started out saying that we was going to do in the beginning, and you held true to that, man, and I'm so proud of you, bro.
Appreciate you, bro.
Can't nobody tell me nothing bad about you. Can't nobody tell me nothing that I don't already know. We are solid forever, my brother, and, like you said, if ever you need anything, I am here for you, brother.
Appreciate
Hands
you,
down, no questions asked, and, yeah, let ride, man. You know what I'm saying? We ride, we gonna ride this 10K together. Let's get to 20 now, baby. I want to see you take it all the way as far as it can go, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm so happy for you, brother. Like,
thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
And it's well deserved, bro. On another note, football is here. It's Thanksgiving tomorrow. I ain't did nothing all week, man. In anticipation, I'm just wondering what this Dolphins team is gonna do on Sunday. You know what I'm saying, that we haven't seen yet. I'm so excited because I know there's going to be some new wrinkles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like Christmas coming early, man. It's just crazy, man. I try to temper my expectations a lot of times, but it's just hard, man, because this team is so electric right now. And, yeah, it's a good week. It's a good week to be a Dolphin fan.
Let me hit y'all with something that wasn't on the list right out the gate. Because, hearing Richmond talk about it kind of made me think about it. Like, we haven't, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't played on Thanksgiving since Joey Harrington played the Lions, right?
Yep.
What was that, like 06?
06.
I remember, being at my buddy's house and watching that game. And why do we never, considering we're one of the old teams that's been around, I mean, we got the perfect throwback uniforms. We've been around. I mean, maybe we will now that we're turning into what we're turning into. But think about that. It's been 16 years and going on since we've played a Thanksgiving game. And, I kind of think if anyone deserves, I mean, we played the Lions this year. It's not like we're not, the Bills get the shot though instead. Like Cowboys, imagine Cowboys Dolphins tomorrow. Would that not be a game to get up for? That's a potential super. I don't hate to use the words, but you know what I mean? That, that would be a potential. What do you think? It's just the same deal as why we haven't got any primetime love? We just haven't been relevant enough.
Yeah, I think a lot of it ties into the fact of what we hadn't done previously up to now, and at this point now, I think they're looking at the possibilities of they have to be looking at the possibilities.
Bro, we're gonna get prime times at the Yazoo because of our offense next. We've got to. They're gonna be even if they light teams up, they're gonna be exciting to watch, right? No, am I wrong?
It's undeniable. But I think a lot of that, like Cowboys, Jared run the NFL. Let's be clear about it. So they're always gonna be featured. The Lions, I think this thing goes back with them completely way back to a time when, they were the heart and soul of Detroit with, it being the, the backbone of American, American families and whatnot with the factories and all that stuff. So they're gonna send some love their way.
And they need something.
Yeah. So anybody else they sprinkling in, you see they got the Bills against the Lions tomorrow. They've self-proclaimed them to be the favorite for the Super Bowl. So they want to show them as much as possible. But,
I was wrong. We had Cowboys Dolphins in 2011.
Oh, okay. Well, dang.
Really, did we? I don't remember that game.
11.
I don't remember that game.
Chris Chambers? Who was it? Who was 2011?
Was
Chris Chambers here then?
No, that would have been around. Wasn't that Brandon Marshall time? Or Mike Wallace time? It was one of those two guys. Let me look this up. Hold on. November 24th, 2011. We lost 20-19. We went, Brandon Marshall.
Oh, okay.
Brandon Marshall had a 35. Matt Moore versus Tony Romo. Good call, Topher.
There we go. All right.
There you go. But now I want Dak versus Tua. Give me that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be way worth more the price of admission.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like we don't get enough because
I think it's coming though, bro. It's coming.
But remember how big of a thing was when Madden brought out the turducken. Yeah. You know what I mean? And because we'll never get Summerall. I think Summerall and Madden will never be top. Yeah, bro.
6 and 8 legs, yeah, man.
Looked like it came from a nuclear power plant. Like it was a nuclear power plant. Yeah, ridiculous, bro. But I don't think we'll ever get a announced duo like Summerall and Madden. You know what I mean? They just you really felt at home listening to them. Anyways, enough of that. Let's get into what we really got to talk about. And I'm actually going to start here with Richmond. I wanted to get your, former player. Our bye weeks, we had won 4 in a row, 7 with 2 starts and finishes. Momentum is clearly on our side. Now, we've talked about on this show and on this channel on Finside the NFL, we've talked about the positives in terms of the bye, what McDaniel can do in terms of tightening up everything offensively. Maybe Boyer can make some adjustments, all the positives. But as a player, does it slow down momentum when you're rolling like that? And is it, especially when you're winning, is it difficult to get back into the rhythm, or are you're just salivating to get back on that field because you've been winning lately? How does it affect your momentum when your team that's built it so well to we're the number 1 seed in the AFC East, number 2 seed overall in the AFC right now? How does it impact a team's momentum from a player's point?
Well, I think the positive thing is it's a bye week, and I think it came at a good time to where we can actually get some players healthy. The only drawback that I kind of remember from having a bye week was going into the bye week and trying to stay focused on that game. And I think we talked about it before, players trying to decide where they're going for, those few days they got off or whatever, then come back. Normally after you get through the bye week, it's not as bad. I think it's just that game right before the bye week always seems like a trap game. So when we played Cleveland and took care of business, I thought that was awesome, because now you don't have to worry about that. Now you can actually go in, get the rest. If guys need to get treatment, and it gives the coaching staff, I think it gives them an additional chance to say, okay, we got the Texans this week, but with that 3-game stretch we got coming up with the LA Chargers, the 49ers, it gives them a little bit more time to break down film on those teams. They're not going to talk about it to the players, but at the same time, they're saying, hey, we should be able to get by the Texans. You got to do a game plan for them. Let's do it. But let's really see if we can come up with something to expose or exploit either their weaknesses with the teams, because 2 of those 3 no, maybe all 3 of them are on the road. Yeah, we're LA, and then we go to Frisco, and then come back to Buffalo.
Frisco, LA,
yeah.
Buffalo.
Yeah, so I think that's the thing. It gives the coaches a little bit more opportunity to prepare, especially when you got a tough stretch like that. But the biggest challenge that I kind of remember as a player is just going in, and the coaches would always say, "Hey, we need to stay focused, this and that." And sometimes we would end up losing that game, and it would piss you off because sometimes it's almost like you said, "Don't focus on it. That's what you focus on." You know what I'm saying? It's like you're saying, "Don't worry about that." But then you end up worrying, and you lose a game to a team that you should have beat, and then you like pissed off and go into bye week. But then you come out and you're pissed off, and you want to take it out on the next team because you knew the other team should have beat you. But the way this team is playing, it seems like everybody is focused. It's a team concept. I see that. So we're in a good position, and I think they're going to hit the ground running Sunday, picking up right where they left off.
Richmond's just full of segues. He's got 2 segues on that. One to you, BallGame. He talked about making adjustments and watching film ahead when you got these guys coming up because the front 7 in San Francisco is really good. Even with the injuries they have, the front 7 in LA is still really good too. We know what Von Miller and company can do in Buffalo. And one thing Myles Garrett said, I don't know if you guys caught it this week. He was interviewed after we beat them, and he talked about how, our technique and our positioning. He's like, it was borderline holding, but if you don't get called for it, you got to play through it and you got to adjust, right? And he said it's borderline illegal is what he said. But he said we had adjustments for everything they threw at him. He's like, they had answers, they had adjustments, their technique was really well, their hand placement was borderline illegal, but if it's not called, you got to play through it, right? And he really credited the players and the coaching staff for having a game plan. How key is it facing those front 7s we're going to face over the next, once we get outside of the Texans, as to what Richmond said, BallGame, from a coaching standpoint?
I think the biggest thing that you run into is that often sometimes the plan is put in place, but the execution is lacking. And what we've seen over the course of the last couple of weeks is that these guys have done a really good job of executing the plan. So as long as the preparation, which I believe they are in the think tank, man, these guys already probably requested most of the film that they needed to see, or they could get their hands on ahead of time to actually kind of game plan ahead of, one game ahead. I don't believe they're even remotely looking at the Chargers yet. Because it's the Chargers after 49ers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think they're even looking at the Chargers yet, but I do know that they're probably taking a peek at some of the stuff. And what we'll see on Sunday, I believe, will be a combo install of some of the things that they might want to try to see if they can get off and get away with against the 49ers, depending on the looks that they get from the Texans. But for the most part, it's basically completing the first part of probably his install as well, and for the Texans. And that's beneficial because now you're not just giving guys redundancy, right? They're seeing new, fresh things, right, to incorporate them, the things that they already know they do well. And what that does at that point is keeps the excitement going, and then it makes the coaches also want to look for other things that they can bring to the table as well. The biggest thing is that because of the experience of those front 7s that we have, Mike has to stay ahead of the game. He has to employ things and put things in place that are going to pressure those guys and give them different looks that they haven't seen before, so that it puts them on edge, as opposed to our guys having to be the ones to react to what they're doing. This offense is an attack style offense. So with that being the mindset, it kind of takes away the aggressiveness, or some of the aggressiveness that the defense can have. And if the defense is overly aggressive trying to attack us, we can exploit those things. So I think that's really what he wants. You know what I'm saying? We want to be controlled, aggressive in our approach and our attack offensively, but at the same time, if they make a mistake, we want to capitalize on it and make them pay for it. And that really, once you hit a person and you attack them and you get success in the intermediate areas of the field and you get a deep ball off and you say you pull it in, most defensive coordinators, I don't care how good they are, they stop the aggressiveness. Now they're playing Now they're playing catch up in their defensive calls, and that's really where we want them as an offense. Scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, well, 3 didn't work. 2 invert didn't work. 4 quarters ain't work. Oh my God. Okay, what else I have? I got 3 cloud. I got 6, but we haven't practiced it. So now he's, you know what I mean? Now his calls are getting late. Guys are getting frustrated. They don't know what to do, and that's the complexity. I mean, that's the frustration that you'll have dealing with trying to figure out where the ball is going with this offense that we put on the field. And I think that's all preparation though, because this dude has shown. I'm telling you, some of the intricate ways in which they were run blocking. I'm glad Myles Garrett mentioned it, and how they were attacking with like completely different concepts. Where you got a running back lined up offset to the right, but you're running the sweep to the left, and he's clearly behind the quarterback. And the quarterback is turning and tossing the ball out of the shotgun formation. You don't see that type of stuff. And you got to pull him back. So you got to pull in right guard, and you got the down block from the tackle, and the left guard is also pulling out as well. Like, you don't see that type of stuff. It just doesn't happen. Most conventional offenses are not running that type of stuff. And when defenses, they stay true to what they do, right? They have their things that they do well, and they don't want to get out of those things. But when they face an offense that forces them to come out of their comfort zone, they generally fall apart. And that's what we're seeing happen with a lot of defenses. They just realize that we don't have an answer for it. Like we don't know what we're going to see, because you don't know what's going on in Mike's head, man. I think it's just amazing. And they've given him time off to sit there.
Yeah, I know. Scary thought. Scary thought. And Richmond, the other segue you kind of had, and I'll bring it back to you. You kind of mentioned it. I mean, in what you talked about, this is a game that they should win, and sometimes you can lose those coming out of the bye. Well, we're favored, last I checked, by like 13 on the spread right now. Would this be the definition of a trap game for you, especially with everything going on in Houston with the quarterback change and all of that stuff?
No, I guess what I was trying to say, the game going into the bye, like Cleveland would have been a try game. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because that's when guys are trying to the coaching staff and everybody, they're gonna let you know, okay, y'all have Thursday, Friday, Saturday off, this and that. So you know what days. So then you say, okay, well, if I'm going here, let me start checking on flights. But typically after, no, we should be good. And I think everybody's focused. I don't think, I think everybody's going to be ready to go. I think they're going to pick right up where we left off, and it's going to be some more defensive coordinators frustrated on Sunday. And I think, like Myles Garrett said, of course, he's that's kind of politicking when you're saying, it's borderline holding. This, like I said, if they don't call it, they don't call it. You got to play the game, but
Rich,
you got to suck it up and just keep going.
But let's be honest, though. And I know that if they wanted to, they could call holding on every play all year long. But
I'm not going to agree with that ball game.
Hold on.
I'm not going to agree with that.
I mean, I'm talking not just offensive, because I know I taught my boys.
Did you see how he tried to handle my boys?
I teach my secondary. Hey, if you can get away with it, if the ref has his eyes elsewhere,
right,
you hold on for dear life.
Yeah, it's typically, I got what you're saying, but it is.
There's an art to it. There's an art form to it.
There is.
Yeah.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some guys are really good at. The thing is, and it's
sleight of hand, baby.
The sleight of hand. Even you watch defensive backs when they defend receivers, sometimes the way they kind of wrap their hands, some of them are real crafty the way to get away with it. And
I'm just saying.
But
I was taking a shot at y'all, baby. You know what I mean?
Oh no, man, I'm messing with you, brother. You know that. But the funny thing, I used to watch pro basketball games, and you see people that go, "Oh man, that was a foul," but it's easy to see when they show it to you in slow motion, but they show it to you at game speed.
Bro,
you can't.
Michael Jordan was the master of the push-off without drawing the call. Ask Byron Russell, Utah Jazz, bro. To this day, you remember that? Huh? Just boom, right in your eye, too.
Get out of here.
That's the worst thing. He'll get away with it, and he'll drain it to win the game right in your face. There's an art for it. Hey, man, it is what it is. There's an art form, man. Like,
that's it.
Those guys that can walk the thin red line, you know what I mean? You got to respect it.
Hey, at the end of the day, referees and umpires are fans too.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Exactly.
So
I'm trying to see.
slow down the game if we call too many penalties. So some stuff has to be. Stop crying, Miles.
Well, he said, "Hey, if they're not calling it, you got to play through it." Like,
You got to play
Why
through
you
it.
ain't bring it up
making
then?
excuse.
Why bring it up though?
The guys, the Dolphins are 7-3. They control their own destiny. Just from a player standpoint, Richmond, do they sit back and is that something you realize? Is that something you understand that you literally there is no better point in any sport as to when you control your destiny to literally take it game by game and not look ahead past the Texans because even though you're talking about think about it, even though you're talking about the pre-bye game, a lot of what you said could ring true towards the Texans in terms of
It's true.
they're a crappy team. They're going through a quarterback change. You basically shut down the run game, Damian Pierce. There's not much to look to. You're favored by 13. You've gone from being favored by 3 to sometimes the underdog against real good teams, and now you're straight up favored by 13. I mean, it kind of is the definition of a trap game. But back to the controlling your own destiny, your own fate. Is this something players, are conscious of that? Because, this doesn't, at least in Miami in recent years, this doesn't come along very often, only 10 games into the season. And let's be honest, boys, for the longest time, how long has it been? Win this game in week 16 and you're in. Win this game in week 17 and you're in. That's been our MO since Tannehill was here. When we went in that year where he got hurt with Matt Moore, we started to win, right? But right now we're 7-3 and we control our own destiny coming out of the bye week. Is that something players are conscious of?
I think what players are conscious of, and I notice I pay more attention to this as a fan now rather than when I was a player. When I was a player, I really didn't focus on, we're favored to win by 3 or we're favored to. I never focused on that.
But you knew when you were facing bottom tier team. You knew when you're facing the cellar dwellers, right? Like
you knew that, but you also know at any given week, if you underestimate a team, they can get you, or they can come out and play a balls lights out game, and you be like, where this team been all season? So you always approach those games like that because you definitely don't want one of those to slip versus you playing against, say, like the 40, a much better team. We got to be on our A game, but even if we are, we could still possibly lose that one. But the ones you feel you really should win, those are the ones you want to take care of. I think they look at it that way, and I think they look at it and say, okay, we just got to continue to take it one game at a time. Yeah, we're in first place, but we still got 7 games to play. So let's take care of this one, and we'll worry about the next one, this and that. But it's been a long time, like you said, and I don't have to tell nobody since the Dolphins has been in this situation. And like y'all were talking about earlier, next year we'll probably have easily 3 primetime games if they continue to play like this. At least 2 Monday nights, or a Monday night, Sunday night, this and that. And
make the throwbacks permanent and give us an alternate for Monday Night Football, bro.
And then the other thing too, and I know both of you have been, directing people to this, but if we were playing in primetime games the way Tua has been playing, not only the Dolphin fan base would know, but everybody, because when you play those primetime games and you show out like that, they're gonna be like, man, this kid is good. So the other
Richmond, imagine if that Ravens game was in prime time.
Yeah, games like that, and that would be a prime. If you think about it, that would be a prime game because you got Lamar Jackson versus Tua, this and that. That would be a prime time.
Well, I think they're going to start flat. I think because in December they start playing on Saturdays. I think they're going to flex us to not. I think they're going to try and get us. You know what I mean? Anyways, continue on. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, I think that's the thing. But I think the players be focused is just. I think everybody realizes we're in a good position, and I think we have enough leadership on offense and defense to where guys say, "Hey, we remember where we were last year. Remember where we were the year before. We were fighting just to get in there. We're in a good position. Let's not waste this opportunity." So I think they're gonna be fine.
It's been a long time since these cats.
It's been a long time. That's what Rakim said,
yeah. You know, I think one of the funny things. Well, I mean, I concur with pretty much everything Richmond said in regards to how these guys see things, but also I think at the end of the day, it's still a business for most of these guys. That's how they eat, man. So, shoot, a lot of these players don't even know the divisions, bro. They don't even know the teams of the division. They just know who on the schedule. You know what I'm saying, and what's the game plan to actually go through the process of executing against them to get the W because it's a business. So, Mike doesn't at any point strike me as the type of coach that's going to allow these guys to drift too far off into worrying about the records. It's one game at a time, week to week. Deal with the opponent that we have in front of us, and then we could take a peek ahead just a bit if it's possible. But you know what I'm saying, for the most part, the Texans can be a problem if we don't show up as we're supposed to. And that's the thing about NFL football, man. Any given Sunday, bro, if you go out there and you underestimate somebody and they punch you in the face first, a lot of times you don't get an opportunity to recover. And if they keep punching, because that's what happened with, think about it, that's what happened with the Detroit game.
Yeah.
They punched us in the face early. We just happened to have a chance to catch our breath.
The Browns tried to.
Browns tried to as well. Yeah.
Dude, have you noticed every time we defer, we get punched in the face, bro? And our offense has to come back. That's why I know keeps working out for us at halftime. But I mean, our defense the way built right now with the exactly right. Like you feel like eventually that's gonna be a punch that staggers you for real. And the way our defense is, especially in the secondary, and the way our offense usually is on that first scripted drive, I'd be putting the pressure on these other offenses and these other teams. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Just turn up on them. I mean, and ball game. I mean, there's 7 games left. We kind of touched on this on Monday night on the panel, but we really didn't, boys. And I wanted to get your thought. What are the games now? Again, I understand game by game, every game should worry you. But which ones are the ones that you really are highlighting that you're side-eyeing, you're giving that side-eye? Because to me, it's San Fran, it's Buffalo, and it's New England. And I'm going to explain why Buffalo, New England. San Fran, I legitimately think, boys, they are an NFC championship quality team. We've seen it. They can go on that run. They're good run. Yeah. And I think if you can beat them in their house, I mean, that shows y'all we're ready to win in the playoffs, and I think we can run the table if we beat the Texans and then them. Anyways, because the belief should be through the roof after you beat a team like that. Anyways, the Bills and the New England Patriots, I understand Tua's undefeated. I get all that. But, I mean, nothing lasts forever. We know that, 1. 2, historically, before Tua and in one situation and with Tua in the other, and I mean New England and Buffalo, we haven't been that great in those buildings. Before Tua was around, we could only beat New England in Miami, right? Before Tua was around, we could only beat New England and Miami. So, and they're divisional rivals, and those type of games you can never take for granted. And the New England Patriots looks like they're getting it together a little bit, and the Bills are the Bills. Yes, I'm not as worried about the Packers. We've seen them play. I'm not as worried about Herbert because we've seen him in the fourth quarter. I'm not as worried about the Jets because they're being exposed for what they are, what we knew they were the whole time, et cetera, et cetera. What games do you guys look remaining on the schedule, and it really gives you guys a sense of pause?
Well, if I got to be honest, it would be San Fran and Buffalo. I think just when we have there's 2 things we got to conquer with. I'll jump on Buffalo first. It's playing in the cold weather, right? We got to kill that. We got to be able to kill that consistently because in order to be able to, we got to be if things don't shake out for us and we got to go on the road, you got to be able to play in cold conditions. So that's always something that I'm thinking about. Like we got to go beat them on their turf in their element, and the cold is a part of that, and generally we always split with them, right? We win at home, and then they get us up there or something, something along the line. And the same thing with New England, but I'm not so concerned about New England at this point. I think they're just, playing just for respect at this point, which is scary, but not as scary for me in terms of what my expectations are. San Francisco, I think, is looking at ourselves in a mirror, right? To some degree, we just got faster outside threats than they do, but the philosophy is going to be the same: get the ball to the running backs, establish the ground game, and be creative in the passing game. But it's just because we're there, because we're playing them there for me on their turf, and this is a big, coming into your own thing for Mike that I don't know how he's going to be.
And how our defense has been on the road too, right?
Yeah. We've been Jekyll and Hyde on the road, which means Boyer is going to have even a bigger spotlight on him because you got to get that fixed. Like, you can't continue this trend of playing lights out at home and only giving up, minimum points, and then on the road and give up everything. Like, you just can't do that. So for me, it's going to be Frisco, who, like you said, I agree, could be the NFC favorite, right, at any given time based on the way that we know they can run the table. And the Bills, just because we finished the first part of the fight, but in order to knock them completely out and be done with the fight for this year, you gotta get the W there. You gotta beat them, right? 'Cause otherwise, you just partially did the job, and then that still leaves the door open for people to speculate as to whether you really, truthfully could beat them when they're at full strength. And I don't know that late in the season if anybody is going to be 100%, but if they're at 85 and you're at 85, that's a pretty fair fight to me, And I just feel like that's definitely the one. That's the monkey that we definitely got to get off our back. So those two for me.
Richmond.
Yeah, definitely San Francisco. I think when you have, I think Coach McDaniel wants to have a good showing, but when you come from a team and then a lot of those players like him over there, but a lot of those players don't want to see him come up there and beat them at the same time. And I think, like you said, Frisco is one of the better teams. I think they got 4 losses, but they are really. I've been watching the last couple of weeks, and when you got a defense,
they're coming on, like
they're coming on at the right time. So you almost got to throw their record out and saying they're actually better than what their record shows. It's kind of like with us. You can say, well, we're 7-3, but really, you can say we could be 8-2, 9-1 if Tua doesn't get hurt. So, you take factors like that into consideration. So I think that'll be a tough game. I don't know if Herbert gets up for that, but I think they're going to really try to hype that game up since both of them came in the same draft class and stuff like that. And they played pretty decent against Kansas City, but Kansas City was just a better team. But Buffalo definitely concerns me.
Richmond, did you watch that game?
I did, yeah.
Weren't you watching Mahomes drive and weren't you like, yo, that's literally Tua? Like when he would the drive before Herbert threw the pick. I was watching that drive. I'm like, that's literally what Tua, like, that's literally, I'm like, our quarterback does that exact same thing on when the drives matter. Anyways, continue on.
And one of the things, and I think Kansas City defense is playing better than it was last year right now. But what I noticed is the similarity between Kansas City and the Dolphins is, like you said, Mahomes knew he was going to go take the ball down and drive it, and guys like Travis Kelce, this and that. I think we have that same element. We don't say, oh, we got a minute left and we got to score. We just say, okay, we're going to just go score and win the game. They both got that same swagger. When you get two teams matched up against like that, that's when you really get to see some really good football. So to get back to it, the Bills, they concern me because I just know we're playing in that rivalry. In the back of their minds, they feel, okay, we lost. We should have won that game in Miami. It was hot. We had guys cramp up. They're not looking at it as excuses, but they look at it and they'll say, okay, well, now they got to come to Buffalo. It's going to be cold. It'll be a different story, this and that. But I just, with Buffalo, I believe they they believe they can win, but I think at the same time they're starting to press because they've lost a couple of games that they shouldn't have lost. So now it's like they're a game ahead of us. So they could set themselves up to make more mistakes because I think Josh Allen, if the game gets tough, close or whatever, he could try to force some things and end up losing another one. So, but I think that's going to be a tough game because they're going to be ready for us. And Bill Belichick is who he is, but I think we can win a game. I don't think it'll be a game like what the Jets just played against them. I think they got a good defense, stuff like that, but we got way more weapons, and Tua's a more efficient quarterback than Zach Wilson. So, but I would say Buffalo and kind of like y'all, Buffalo, San Francisco. Yeah.
So, do you boys think Tyreek can gets to 2K? He's at 1148 right now. To get there, he would need to average about 121.7 receiving yards a game the rest of the way. And we all know he's probably going to have a couple more 160, 180 games that could allow for lesser games than 121. Do you guys see him getting to it over the next 7 games? Because really he needs about what? He needs 852 yards over 7 games.
I think he's going to get it. And the reason I think he's going to get it is because he's not going to be focused on it. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to focus on winning, and he's going to just let the game come to itself. Yeah. If he ends up with 1,890, he's going to be cool. If he ends up with 2,100,
I'll be cool with that, bro.
It's just he's got a different mindset, man, and I think that's what a lot of times people look and say, okay, well, this guy's making this money. Yeah, he's making money, this and that, but from everything I heard about his work ethic, I mean, he works as if he's one of the lower guys on the totem pole, the way he approaches practice, this and that. So when you see a guy work like that and he's happy whether he scores, long as the Dolphins score, he's a team player, and that's very rare to find sometimes in a player of that caliber where if they're not eating like they think they should, they don't start pouting and getting selfish and stuff like that. So I mean, I love it. I think he's gonna get it, but I think he's gonna get it because he's not gonna focus on it. He just wants to win and play football, and I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I'm not in a position to dispute any of that because I think I saw him on a recent sit down. He was getting into the ice bath. He and Kevin Hart were discussing things, and Kevin was like, "Hey, man. What's up with this dude? What's up with this dude? He just do. If you were thinking, listen to this dude. He act like he's 6'2" or something." And then Tyreek was like, "I do. I am."
BallGame. We always talk about the dog. Isn't he one of the biggest dogs?
Biggest dogs
in the league.
Yeah.
In the league.
Yeah. Like no one. And in his mind, the only person who can stop him is him.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad at that because. Like, you have to have that level of confidence to be able to go out there every Sunday and do what he does. And he's earning it. He's saying it, and he's producing on the field. And even when the yardage is not huge, the touchdowns are there.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I agree with Richmond, right? I don't think they're going to go through this massive, this spam the ball to Tyreek. They're going to let the game come to him naturally, and he's just going to do what he does. You know what I'm saying? When you moving the ball up the field 15, 17, 21 yards a clip, and you add those numbers add up real quick. And then, the only thing that kind of cautions me a little bit and being a little excited about it, him getting it, I believe he can. But I looked at the strength of schedule going forward for pass defense that we're going to be facing. And we're like 3rd, man, in terms of
yeah, we got some good passes.
Yeah, there's some.
Even
really
the Texans are the 14th best pass defense.
Yeah, man. So it's gonna be interesting. I believe he can get it though. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and if he does, then all that does is set up for the duo to basically be 1 and 2, and you can go either way. You can go offensive player of the year, and MVP or MVP, and either way, those 2 honors should land in Miami between Tyreek and Tua, in my opinion. You can go either way with them, but what they've been able to pull off this year alone, in terms of him and Waddle and their yardage productions has been ridiculous for a duo. and I just think they're gonna continue to do it every week.
Yeah.
So,
It's I was thinking the other good thing is can you imagine being the quarterback and a guy in a position like that, and then every time you come to the huddle, hey bro, you need to get me the ball. Hey, that could disrupt everything, and we don't have that. And man, that's what I'm saying. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to that. But when you
we
get
do
a
have
team
Rich.
what's that?
Yeah. They be out there doing that, man. I know y'all be hearing them when they be doing that. Yeah. Sheffield even be doing it. You know what I mean? That's their way of letting Tua know, hey, I got man to man.
I got a victim. Over there. I got a victim. Yeah.
Let's talk about this Texans game here. Especially we talked about, coming off the bye, the momentum and everything like that. Is this Texans game important to setting the tone heading into that 3-game road trip? Because Richmond, we even talked about that road trip on the panel, and you talked about, it's good they're at, you in the back in the day used to have to go West Coast, then back to Buffalo, whatever, but they got the two games stay in the West Coast with San Francisco and LA back to back. The one thing that's going to suck is they're probably going to get acclimated to the West Coast time, and then they got to flip to the East Coast, 3-hour difference. And then, is this really important to, this is because at the end of the day, guys, honestly, we talked about how the bye week couldn't come at a better time. Could the opponent be any better too? Because it's a low tier opponent. So if you got a little rust, this is the type of game where if you're a little rusty coming out, you can stick around in it because the other opponent isn't really, unless it really gets away from you and, you just come out totally flat. If you got a little bit of rust, this is a perfect team to shake it off against. So do you guys think this is important to setting the tone heading into this big 3-week road trip? Because that 3-game road trip, boys, is probably – the next murderer's row compared to that first 4 games we started off with this year, and they came out 4-0. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Anytime, even if they didn't have to go to the West Coast, anytime you got 3 games in a row away from home, that's a tough stretch for any team. So I think that's what makes the Texan game more important. And then also the other thing that you got to think about with the Texans game, I was sitting here thinking about is they're switching quarterbacks, and I think the defense will do fine against the run. Not concerned so much against the pass, but the way the NFL works, they watch so much film, so they know tendencies on this and that. And when you get a backup quarterback that hadn't started, they don't have a lot of film on him. So now they got to say, okay, what are they going to do with him versus what they normally do with Davis Mills? Do they have the same type of skill set? Is this guy more of a runner? Is he better outside the pocket? Is he pure pack? Sometimes it takes a little while. So even if they make a few plays, I think we win the game, but even if they make a few plays, I just know sometimes the fan base will be like, man, what's going on? We got to stop them, this and that. But a lot of times you got to take that into consideration, and you'll see a backup quarterback come in and play well for 3 or 4 weeks. But it's because they don't have any film on them. But once they study that film and get that film, it's on you. I think we'll be fine. But that's the other thing I was kind of thinking about. They could make a few plays, but I still see us winning this game.
Yeah, I think for me, it just comes down to alignment and assignment and guys just doing their jobs. When you look at the rosters, no matter how you crack it up, we got the better roster, we got the better team, and not to slight the Texans, but they're quite a ways away from being a team that we should really fear. But you take them all serious, and you go out and you just do your job, and let the execution and the great play calling take care of itself. Guys go make plays and get on to the next week, because that those games are the ones that truly are going to establish you towards the postseason. So it's easy sometimes, though, for guys to get out there after the first couple series and then we dominate, and get relaxed. But even then, that's when people get hurt. So, I'm sure the coaches are reminding these guys, because we got a fairly young team. So they have to keep their eye on the prize, right? We want everybody to start and finish healthy, and just go execute, and then get off the field and be healthy for the road trip that's coming up, because we need each and everybody, you know what I'm saying, able body, capable body, ready to go into war against Frisco, because I believe that's what that game is going to be. That game is going to be a war. It's going to be a lot of running, a lot of saying a lot of key linebacker play, and I hope our guys are up for the challenge for that, because they are going to run the ball, and McCaffrey is looking better and better every day. So,
all right, let's this Texans game too. They made a change at quarterback. Davis Mills coming off a 169-yard performance against the Washington Commanders, where he also threw 2 interceptions. They lost 23-10. He was sacked 5 times for a loss of about 42 yards. After a really good season last year as a rookie, it hasn't really gone his way this year in year 2. They brought in Kyle Allen, the former Washington Commander, and he played for the Panthers as well. Remember, he started 12 games in place of an injured Cam Newton in 2019. He went 5-7 for them, 3,300 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 16 picks. Went 1-3 as a starter in 2020 for Washington. He turns the ball over. He hasn't started a game since November 8th, 2020. Does it even matter to you guys that they made the quarterback change? Should it even matter to the team that, because Davis Mills is far more familiar? Now they still got guys like Brandon Cooks and Nico Collins. Obviously, their best offensive weapon is Damian Pierce, the rookie running back, who's absolutely eating and feasting in the backfield. Does it even concern you or worry you that they made a change? Because this is a 1-8-1 team looking to snap, I believe, a 5-game losing streak. Should they even be concerned that they made a quarterback change?
Well, I think it's important to always focus, right, and just go out with the mindset that we still got to execute regardless of what the records say. They're still professionals. So, like I said previously, I think it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It's about what we do, right? And I think this team has adopted the mindset that as long as we do what we do and we do what we do well, we're unstoppable. And just got to go about the business of, getting in and out of the huddle, get the plays ran, score the touchdowns, get to the sideline, let the defense get a couple stops, offense back out there, put the game away, make it easy on yourself, put the game away so that you can have extra time to prepare for the gauntlet that's coming, and that's the thing. These games, Richmond said that the trap game is a Browns game. I 100% agree. This game is what I consider is what we used to call the major letdown game, right? Because then you see the opponent, you see the record, and you know the history, and you know that they don't really have a chance against you. But then you don't go out and you give 100%, and then you're left scrambling trying to figure out, okay, well, we got to plug this and plug that. When if you just played the game the way it was supposed to be played from the beginning, you don't have those problems. And that's coaching. That's coaching. That's coaches ensuring that the guys are 100% focused, and a lot of it. Well, and guys too, just being professionals, right? You're getting paid to go do the job, go handle the business, and get out of there. So,
your thoughts, Richmond, on the whole benching of Davis Mills, and if that should even matter or move the needle for this team?
No, I think the thing, and y'all said it earlier, is my expectations for the Texans will be they're going to try to come out probably like the Browns or Detroit and do something to try kind of rattle the team or whatever, but that shouldn't work. I think if we go out and execute and come out and focus in like what we're supposed to and take care of this team after a couple of series, this game should be over. I mean, they'll still go through the motions, but this could be a game kind of like Jacoby Brissett got beat up. I think the defense, this is a stat game for them if they play the way they played against the Browns. Sacks and possibly a couple of picks, this and that. We do for some more turnovers and stuff like that. And I can see that game going this way.
It's kind of weird how that whole benching went down because the head coach declined to admit it. Then the report comes out that he's being benched. Then the OC denied the report. said nothing changed, even though Kyle Allen will start and no, but it's just kind of weird how that whole thing has gone down. It's just it's real. One thing I wanted to ask you guys, because I know we've talked about this before. Someone, Mike McDaniel was asked what he was willing to reveal about his plan for Austin Jackson this Sunday, and he said, and I quote, "I don't feel like revealing anything. I feel like today helping the competitive advantage for the team I coach. I respect it, but it doesn't make any sense for me to reveal it. I get it. Just know that I'm super confident and very, very happy that we have taken our time with Austin. He's in a place where he can make plays as an offensive lineman. We are afforded options with his versatility. But as long as there's no setbacks, I think you're going to see some of his best play here soon. He's done it the right way. He's earned it. He's in a good spot, and I'm excited for him." Are you guys still under the belief that he's not going to start over Brandon Shell?
No, not me.
Because I know there's still some people looking side-eyed at this, being like, "Are you going to start him over Brandon Shell?"
Well, I would caution you not to mess with the continuity, but at the same time, Jackson does have that first round draft pick price tag on his head, and they need that to stick. Yeah. So I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's still a business, And if you give him the go, and he struggles, you automatically know you got a guy that you can put right back in there and then keep it going. You know what I mean? But they gotta see what they got. You know what I mean? That first round draft pick status on him puts that in perspective. And Shell is a professional. He understands that, fans might not like it, but if Austin comes back, because I don't think he was actually playing that bad before the injury.
No, he wasn't. You
see what I'm saying? So he was building the continuity with the rest of the guys, and if he hadn't got hurt, we could arguably say he'd be playing the same level Shell is. So, but you got to give him a chance. They're going to give him a chance. I mean, I knew that. Mike said that anyway. He said that a couple weeks ago. Like, when everything is.
Yeah, when he called him the starter.
Starter, yeah, it is what it is. I don't know how people missed that, but I caught it.
What do you think, Richmond?
Well, I think they will give him an opportunity. The thing that I really like that he said was, "I don't need to tell y'all what I'm gonna do. Y'all just wait and see." You know what I'm saying? Why am I going to give it? It's just like if I'm playing poker against you, why I'm going to show you my hand and say, "Can you beat it?" Well, hell, if you know what I got in my hand, hell, you know how to play against it. So sometimes the media wants too much, and I'm glad somebody has the sense enough to say, "Well, no, I'm not revealing that." I mean, that's almost like Belichick. Belichick, Parcells is one of those coaches. Nick Saban, you ask them the wrong question. I don't think Mike does it like them, but they'll chastise you and make you really feel dumb for even asking them that question. But I think they will work Jackson in there, whether he starts or not. I think he will play. But like BallGame said, when you're first round pick, they're not going to just let you sit on the bench if they feel they can get something out of you, whether it's to get you out there where other teams can see you and say, "Okay, maybe we can use him as trade bait in the offseason." You got some options, but I just love the fact that he's like, "No, you don't need to know. You'll see when you need to see, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do." So that's what I loved about that.
Mind your business.
Yeah. So your guys' final thoughts and score predictions then for this Texans and Dolphins game. Start with you, BallGame.
35-7. I think they're going to keep it classy. They're going to put up 35. I mean, they're just going to go Texas. If they get a touchdown, bro, they'll be lucky.
They're going to keep it classy. They're not going to put up a 40 burger.
No 40 burger. And then they're going to sit to it down in the fourth quarter probably after the first series in the fourth. It's not going to be. It ain't going to be close. But they're not trying. They understand too. Hell, we remember what it was like to go out there and get smashed on. The NFL. Some teams and some coaches do have some. They do have some compassion and gentlemanship about them and, sportsmanship. So 35-7, that's a respectable score. We didn't run it up on y'all, but we went out and did what we needed to do. So we needed to see, put some good stuff on tape, for ourselves as well. Might have a couple things we need to work on, but, we're better than you. So 35-7 proves that point without us having to put 56 on you. You know what I'm saying? Like 56-7, now that's fighting. Like I'm meeting you in the middle of the, we're gonna meet in the back. right outside your locker room, and yeah, I'm gonna bring my toughest guy, you bring your toughest guy. We're gonna fight because you tried to really show out. But 35-7, that's a respectable score between the Dolphins, where they are now, and the Texans, I believe. So yeah.
Richmond, your scores and a prediction.
Hey man, you got a little of Denzel Washington from American Gangster in you, bro. You just
Or like Training Day, bro.
I mean, I just started thinking about the scene in the movie where he was eating with his brothers and family, and the guy owed him that money, and he walked outside the deal and popped the cat, and then took his money and then stuck it back. I was like, my goodness, but yeah, I see the Dolphins win. I see the Dolphins winning this game, and my score was like 31-13. And I was a little conservative last time, but I think it could even be worse than that. If this offense really is this offense that sometimes is scary, where it could easily be 40 points, but I'm gonna just go 31, save myself a little room. I'm going 31-13.
I think we're gonna win, and I'm gonna make my prediction on Friday as usual when I do my Finside show. But I think we're gonna score over 40 points.
Ooh,
I'm thinking about it. I didn't want to go that high.
I didn't want to have them running up on them. Like I was trying to be a gentleman about it. You know what I mean? But...
No, you wouldn't.
That's why you only gave him 7 points. What a gentleman!
They might only get a field goal.
I think Kyle Allen's gonna turn the ball over in their own end. Like I could really see Skylar Thompson playing a couple drives, if not the whole fourth quarter. I think
that would be lovely. That would be
well. Remember, we beat them when we played them last year. It took Tyrod Taylor's like worst game ever against us, and Jacoby Brissett could barely beat them. When we were all looking at that game, being like, "Yo, Tua would have lit them up," and they're not much better. Right, so
Richmond, you know, they don't have a chance.
The only chance they have in it is if Dameon Pierce is lights out and just runs for like 150 and just keeps the clock on their side, then maybe they'll stick in the game. But if we get up on them early and take Dameon Pierce out, it won't be good for my fantasy team. It's over and it's gonna get ugly, I think. So that's how I see it. All of my American friends, supporters, and subscribers, as well as you gentlemen, have a happy Thanksgiving. We celebrated ours last month in Canada, so enjoy the gobble gobble, right? Celebrate it.
Enjoy the gobble gobble with the waddle.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. And enjoy the football, man. Nothing like I'm telling you, Thanksgiving football just hits different. That's why I wish we were a part of it. But anyways. I'll be back on Friday. We will go further in depth into the Texans-Dolphins preview. On Saturday, I'm going to do an hour show. We're going to celebrate the 10K, and I'm going to announce the giveaway. We're going to have 3 different winners, so we're going to do that on Saturday. And then Sunday, live reaction and post-game show. We're back at it, baby. Football's back. Let's get it. Excellent. As always, everyone stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Take a couple notches off the belt. Enjoy it. Appreciate y'all. Fins up all day, every day. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Fins up.